Getting a bunch of people to talk about your TV show is the dream. It's like when JR was shot during Dallas and literally an entire country did nothing but chat about that one incident. Fortunately, sometimes this hyperbole stops you from taking a step back and actually thinking about things, and when you do, a lot of the time the whole idea comes crashing down, like a pack of cards. I'm Simon from What Culture. This is 10 ridiculous TV premises everybody fell for. Number 10. Sons of Anarchy's tragic fall from grace. Sons of Anarchy told the story of the gradual slide of Jackson Teller as he went from principled outlaw to straight up asshole criminal. Well, at least that's what we were meant to take away if we bought into the idea, but it really wasn't. Raised in a motorcycle club, Jackson is portrayed as a bad man from the very first episode, spending time in prison for smuggling and admitting he has murdered people on behalf of the club. Although becoming a father and his relationship with childhood sweetheart Tara are supposed to show that he's a changed person, doesn't at all. By the time the show ends, Jackson has so much blood on his hands he can probably never even wash it off. So a fall from grace this isn't. He just starts at the bottom and hangs around there for a while. Number 9. Modern Family's documentary. On the face of it, Modern Family is shot as if it's a documentary, including excerpts of interviews that are delivered direct to camera. When you think about it though, why the hell is this happening to begin with? Look at the people who have seemingly chosen to be involved. Jay is in his 60s, semi-retired and doesn't want to talk to anyone. His kids Claire and Mitchell are on paper tightly wound control freaks, and the rest of the crew are just the polar opposites to everybody else. Does that sound like A, individuals who would want to do this, and B, a group that anyone would want to film for 8+ years? This program wouldn't last a week if it was legit, as there would be a war within days between participants and makers. Number 8. House's character study. House ran for 177 episodes and told the story of a drug-addicted genius, Dr. Gregory House, and his adventures at a hospital. The problem though is House himself. While he has moments of magic and saves lives on a regular basis, he's also bonkers and wouldn't last a day at any properly run medical facility. It worked, so you can't complain too much, but it wasn't exactly the smartest approach when you think about it. Number 7. Preacher's doomed small town inhabitants. For those that don't know, the comic version of Preacher is a violent yet kind of funny road trip where lead man Jesse Custer and friends are confronted by some weird grotesque people as they go on a religious quest. You wouldn't know that from the TV series though, or not for a while anyway. The first season focuses on some small town people in Texas that all die before the Preacher's finale. And that's just season 1. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's proper bonkers. Number 6. Buffy the Vampire Slayer's hero status. The hero of a TV show has to do it all. As well as carrying the program on their backs, they need to be the central focus most of the time. Joss Whedon understood that but wanted to approach it differently. Hence why Buffy the Vampire Slayer looked like the traditional horror victim, a slight blonde lady who gets confronted by monsters in the dark. The twist was though that here, she would kick everybody's ass and it was pretty cool. The problem, however, is that for most of the entire show, Buffy moans that she doesn't want to be this hero and complains that life isn't what she wants it to be. What's worse, her friends and allies that rally around her all do want to be there and have given up something to support her. This crew are the real heroes, Buffy just kinda there. Number 5. The following serial killer premise. On paper, the following seems pretty smart. The FBI estimates that there are as many as 300 serial killers haunting the highways in America at any one time, and this show was going to provide all of them with connections and leadership. Then you start watching and realise that's not the case. Making every nutjob part of the same cult took away the most fascinating part of the serial killer narrative, which is finding out how they got to this place and why they're doing it to begin with. Number 4. Prison Break's solid idea. Given that Prison Break's premise is summed up in the title, it's easy to find an audience for it. The whole thing is about bursting your way out of jail. Cool, nice, I get it. The problem is what came next. Even before the first season had aired, networks suggested this may work better as a film, because where do you go after season 1? And they were right. While the debut series was fun and entertaining, season 2 had the protagonists on the run, then 3 put them in a harder prison to escape, and the 4th ignored the prison altogether. When you take everything into account, it's just not a good idea for a TV show, because it all falls apart. Number 3. The Walking Dead's apocalypse. The Walking Dead shows a world where a zombie outbreak has brought civilization crashing down, and the survivors must protect themselves from the undead and other people who have gone crazy. Much like all of these scenarios though, at no point are we told why this happened. Just for some reason, as soon as zombies turn up, that equals the fall of man. Why couldn't The Walking Dead do what nobody else does and actually explain why government, police and armed forces horses just fall into the sea, instead of pitching it like overnight these mindless corpses have taken over everything we hold dear. Number 2, How I Met Your Mother's satisfying ending, or lack of one. How I Met Your Mother went on for 9 years and then fell off a cliff. This was always on the cards though when you take into account the show's structure, a story being told by Ted to his kids in the future. It's the tale of how he met their mother, obviously, complete with callbacks, running gags and constant references. Ultimately, however, the series ends exactly how all the episodes did, with that deliberate anticlimax of, "That's how I met your mother." The longer it went on, the more this delayed gratification was used as a punchline. So when Ted finally meets the mother, the same thing is true. It's not meant to have a quality ending, and it doesn't. It's empty. This was the whole thing. Number 1, Sherlock's detective skills. Because Sherlock Holmes is meant to be a smart dude, he often works things out that we, the normal people, couldn't, and that's fine and we accept it. The problem though is that here, he actually uses abductive reasoning all the time, which raises some issues. Now what does that mean? Well, it's when you take the facts and form your own hypotheses that does tie everything together. This is what Sherlock does with everything, but just because it could make sense doesn't mean that's the be all and end all. He could be wrong. If Holmes ever took a moment to think about things, it'd be fine, but he doesn't. He acts upon them straight away before doing any kind of test. Of course, this is all because it's written by someone who isn't a super detective, and therefore the whole idea is just a magic trick, or basically to make you believe that Holmes is well smart, whereas actually he's just following breadcrumbs. Know of any other TV premises people fell for? Let us know in the comments below, and then don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Then make sure you go to whatculture.com to read more articles and follow What Culture on Twitter @WhatCulture. I am Simon from What Culture, and I'll chat to you again soon.